Today I'm going to be building the Haunted Mansion, a mansion filled with love, beauty, sadness and death. Because it's not a Poisonblade build if not at least 5 people have died within it. So to get started with this build, it took way longer than it was supposed to. This was a build that I built on stream only. Actually, that's a lie, I definitely built some stuff off stream. But there were a couple of streams that I had to cancel because of medical or health reasons. Like first I had skin infection, then I had just a head smashing headache. So I still want to apologize for canceling on those streams. I know that some people said like, oh, it's for health or medical reasons, you shouldn't apologize. But I feel bad if I don't apologize because then I get the feeling that I'm taking you guys for granted. So I will continue to apologize for whenever I'm canceling a stream or a video or just anything in general. And I also want to thank you guys for being basically so forgiving with me. But yeah, moving on from that. So yeah, my sleep schedule's also fucked, but my stream schedule is fucked and just all over the place. And I definitely want to like streamline it and, well, not streamline it, I actually want to stream on the days that I plan to stream, which is Monday and Friday, but lately it's just been maybe Poison is live on those days, but lately it's more likely not. But anyway, we will see tonight, because I'm supposed to stream tonight, and well, for you guys it's not even yesterday. It's like I'm recording this on Monday, but you guys are only going to see this on Wednesday, so you guys can keep me accountable for if I didn't or did stream today, but it's in the past for you guys. Anyway, moving on to the actual builds. So, if I didn't stream on Monday, just put it down below in the comments to scream at me that like I didn't stream or anything like that. But anyway, talking about the actual build, like the actual thing that we're building, the actual Haunted Mansion. Yeah, I thought this building was going to be a little bit harder than it actually was. I was referencing an image that I, of course, found on Pinterest. But I thought it was going to be a little bit more difficult, but it wasn't. So I'm definitely going to try and find more like difficult things to build. And yes, Pinterest is basically my heaven for when it comes to inspiration and references. So much so that I don't even want to go into how many times I open it either on my phone or on my PC. Like, I think I have it open like 90% of the time. But yeah, when it came to this build, it came together surprisingly fast. And then I was just like, well, the idea when it came to the Haunted Mansion was I want it to basically be a Disney Haunted Mansion. Like, it doesn't look creepy from the onset, like it's not like the roof has caved in or that the windows are all broken and shattered. I don't even know if I could actually pull that off with like broken windows and such, because I don't think we have small enough glass pieces for that. But I wanted it to kind of just still look like pristine and pretty on the outside, and then all of the horrors on the inside, which is not completely true because I made sure that like all the plants and all the foliage work surrounding the mansion was just completely overgrown, because it's going to go into the swamp. The swamp is basically the place in Valhalla where foliage takes a lot more time compared to the buildings. Like, a lot of times the actual building of buildings takes the majority of the time, and the foliage work is just like, it's like 2 minutes of the video, maybe, if I even put it in, because sometimes it just goes so fast. And here it's just like in the swamp, it takes center stage. Well, not that, but it takes just a lot longer. So yeah, I tried to also, with the swamp, try to connect it to the swamp story wise, because so far in the swamp we have the story of a woman who hung herself or committed suicide. I know I'm not supposed to say suicide on YouTube, because then it's just like, you said that. Well, actually, I am on a journey to get demonetized, but I don't want to get my video flagged. Anyway, so going into like the story, I removed the banshee actually, because there was the story of like the woman who hung herself and then transformed into a banshee. But I removed the banshee because she kind of looked like a Playmobil figurine. If you don't have Playmobil where you live, then just look it up. But it really, yeah, the banshee just resembled a Playmobil figurine, and it just drew me out of the immersion. Like, all of the immersion was shattered. So I deleted the banshee, but I still wanted, because the suicide place, like the noose and the dead tree and the open grave beneath it, just felt like such a not only important place, but I also just didn't want to delete it because it was just like, it has some kind of special meaning. So I didn't want to delete that, but I still wanted it to have like a broader connection to things. And now that the banshee was gone, I just thought, I'm building a haunted mansion. And there is a noose, there's a place where somebody committed suicide, so I could connect those two into one story. And now the story is that there once was the lady of the house, or the lady of the mansion, who was supposed to meet up with her lover, but her lover never turned up, whether it's because he died in a war or anything, or just because, I don't know, he betrayed her. Or I actually like the story that he cheated on her, like that he was like a grade A douchebag. But she just continued waiting for him, slowly wasted away, and of course committed suicide later on. And then now her ghost continuously haunts the swamps, constantly singing. And then there's like the other the other build that I have planned for the swamp is like a quarry. And then I just thought like, I could also connect that like workers continuously get like drawn to the mansion, because the lady wanders the swamp, but she only sings at the mansion. And then whenever she sings, men just get drawn to her, and then they disappear and never return. But the quarry master just keeps hiring new people, because no way in hell is he going to send guards to the mansion, because he doesn't want to lose more, but he still needs to keep the quarry running. So yeah, the mansion is a place where men go missing. Yeah, this was all just like, I didn't want to delete the suicide place because, well, it's a very heavy subject, and it's also just, I didn't want to delete it, because then the only reason was like, oh, Banshee is gone, so I should delete that place as well. But I didn't want to, because again, it's such a heavy thing, and I didn't feel right to delete it just because it didn't look pretty, or the story changed or anything. But anyway, the mansion, yeah, it's not actually a mansion. Like, a mansion should probably be far larger than this. Like, a mansion should probably be like 3 times, 4 times the size. Well, 3 times, or yeah, 3 or 2 times, like double the size of what the actual build is going to be. But Haunted House just doesn't have the right ring to it. Like, that was the only reason that this place is called the Haunted Mansion. And I also wanted to call it Phantom Manor because I love that ride in Disneyland Paris. Like, I don't really like the refurbishment of it as much. Like, the story changed when they did the refurbishment of the Phantom Manor attraction in Disneyland Paris. I like the original story better, but yeah, it's my favorite attraction in Disneyland because what did you guys expect? I of course love the dark and creepy shit. So yeah, I want to call it Phantom Manor, but there's not a phantom in the story, so it just became the Haunted Mansion. Although then I realized, oh, the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland is like a kind of cheery place actually. And then it just, this place is not cheery at all. Although I did actually use the like Disney way of building haunted houses or just creepy things where it's well, the haunted houses, where all of the creepiness and such is inside the building, and on the outside it looks pristine and pretty, at least when it comes to this building. The rest of the haunted mansion in Valhalla, so now I'm not talking about the one in Disney anymore, but in Valhalla, it's all just like very dilapidated. Like the actual buildings itself are still like structurally fine, or at least this one is, but the grounds have been overgrown. The swamp has just completely taken over. And I actually like the story of like before the lady died or hung herself, that the swamp was just like a pretty meadow with flowers and such. But she just has so much power in that the swamp just sort of took on her sadness, took on her grief, and that the swamp was just created that way. And so then, of course, the grounds of the mansion should somewhat show that as well. But mostly, like, if I didn't do anything to make this look creepy, like, do anything with either the house or the grounds, then it wouldn't be the haunted mansion, because I can't build the actual ghost, or I can't build the actual like inside of it, because, well, I can build that, but it would be too much effort for too little gain, I would say. Like, you would really need to know, like, oh, this house has an interior, let's look inside of it, which I don't think the regular person would do. So then I just decided, yeah, let's have the grounds be completely overgrown and such. But here's the fun thing about this build. It included a tower. I'm a squirrel. I like climbing things. I will keep saying this, but I want to climb the Efteling entrance. They're not going to allow me to, but I will always have that wish. I also, because of Assassin's Creed, just want to climb every building that I see. Yeah, I shouldn't play Assassin's Creed. It's not good for me and like my squirrel tendencies. Because now I just like, I don't see like, oh, pretty building. I just see, I want to climb that and that and that and that. I will probably die because I am not that well coordinated, and also very, well, I wouldn't say I'm clumsy, but I just sometimes don't think of my surroundings and then I knock stuff over. And I don't think that is wise when you're like not completely aware of your surroundings when you're climbing a building. Because if you fall, then ouch. Anyway, but yeah, the tower was the best thing about this building. Well, it's not the best thing. There's actually crypts, or at least the hint towards crypts underneath the house. Or a cellar, most likely. Like, this building wasn't supposed to be creepy from the onset. Or from the get-go. It was supposed to be creepy because it just became taken by the swamp and in the story. Like, this building was not built to be creepy, basically, is what I'm saying. But I really like the tower. And also, making custom roofs, not the, well, it's for me now pretty easy to do, but it's just a very tedious thing to do. But then, well, I'm also going to be building something for Terra Nova, which is just pain on a whole different level. I should stop building huge things. Like, what I'm building for Terra Nova right now is a lot larger than anything I've built in either Bashar or Valhalla or any of my other builds. Like, the thing in Terra Nova is huge, and I actually, funnily enough, like, I looked it up, and it's larger than Trump Tower. Like, that was, I looked up skyscrapers, alright, and one of Trump's, I think it's the one in New York. I think that's also the only one, but I'm not sure. I don't really keep in check with that Cheeto, but yeah, he reminds me of a Cheeto because the color. Anyway, enough about that. The building in Terra Nova is larger than Trump Tower, let's keep it at that, and now we're building the cellars. Or actually, we're just doing the groundwork, so now I didn't keep everything that I built on stream in the video, because then we would have been here for literally 50 minutes. I checked. So I got a lot of stuff out, but I wanted to show you guys all of the like foliage and the grounds of the mansion being built, because from this point on, this is where the creepy part starts. This is where like I wanted it to look like, oh, this was once a pretty mansion, but now the grounds have just been completely overgrown, but somehow the building itself isn't. Even though there's a tree on the roof of the mansion. Yeah, I just thought of that, like, oh, how did that tree get there? Most likely it was just like a seed blown by the wind, and there was like another dirt on the roof that the tree actually grew. But it's also dead right now, so maybe the rain washed away all of the ground. I don't know, but there's just a tree on the roof of the mansion. It was there in the reference picture, and I just really liked the idea. It just gave it just a little bit more flair. But yeah, so then I also decided, oh, let's have a mudslide. I mean, the grounds aren't being kept up anymore, and there is the hill or the mountains right behind the mansion. So then I just thought like, oh, with the constant rain, because it's a swamp and it's for some reason magically, well, I already made it so that the story made it that the swamp was created by the lady of the mansion. Maybe if the lady of the mansion is ever put to rest, like if her spirit ever finds peace, the swamp will slowly turn back into the meadows that it once was. But this also made me think of Valhalla, but now I'm thinking of Dead Squeedos. Yeah, no, died so many times to those guys, nope. But yeah, maybe if the lady of the mansion ever like gets put to rest, maybe the meadows will return. Maybe the mansion will... Well, I don't think, even if the spirit is laid to rest, I don't think I would want to live there, because, like, it just has bad vibes all over the place. Like, even if the ghosts and spirits are gone, no, I still, like, I'm not the most, like, paranoid person, or like ghosts and such, like they're just like, I don't really care about that, but just bad vibes all around, bad, nope. Like, I don't care about ghosts, but I also know that if I was in a horror movie, I would be the first person to go. Well, actually, I wouldn't be in a horror movie. If anyone said to me like, oh, let's explore this graveyard or this haunted house, I'm just like, no. Just no. Let's just, stay inside, get some pizza. If there's a psychopathic axe-wielding murderer, let's call the police and go. Like, well, what would you do? Like, if there was a psychopathic axe-wielding murderer, what would you do? Like, I need to now look, or I'm going to look up a video on like, oh, how do I survive that horror movie or that horror movie? Because, well, I'm curious right now. This voiceover didn't make any sense, but so did none of the other ones. But anyway, first starting off with the slightly pristine version of the grounds with like flowers and such. Of course, it would have looked a lot more like with a lot more flowers and such, but I mean, I already knew that the grounds were going to be dilapidated and overgrown and such, so I just did like the minimal amounts just so that you get the hint of what the mansion was, and then turned it into a swamp. And then I figured out also that I have so far only used one tree in the entire swamp. So there's not that much diversity when it comes to foliage. But there is a lot of like, just plants, like the, I don't know what you call it, the bushes that I'm using right now. There's the Trilodia grass, but then the dead version that I constantly keep using. So, yeah. I should probably include more trees in the swamp. We do now have those willow trees, the actual like the trees that you associate with a swamp more than the trees that I've been using. But then I realized, oh, the swamp predates when we got those trees. But yeah, anyway, going back into the actual build, what was I talking about? I just had like the most massive brain fart ever. Yeah, my brain is just like bleh right now. But anyways, so this is where probably the majority of the time is going to be spent. Well, not the majority of time of the video, because the video is almost over, but the majority of the time that I'm going to spend on this build is probably going to be like all of the plants surrounding the place. Because, oh god, I need to place a lot of that Trilodia grass. Even though it's not really grass. Also, again, this build is not actually a mansion. I tried to make it a little bit bigger by having like a gatehouse, another tower, because of course, it's Poisonblade. If there's not a tower in the build, it's not one of my builds, so now we have set the requirements of what's a Poisonblade build. It has to include one tower, has to be bigger than it was supposed to, and there has to have at least 5 deaths on the place. And then also another building, because again, it's supposed to be a mansion, but it's actually, I think, too small for a mansion. So there's that. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a wonderful day. There's also the like and subscribe button if you want to see more. Put down below in the comments if you like the build or not, and if you would survive in a, well, whenever there's a horror movie going up. Well, that just grammatically and just sensically it makes sense. Tell me down below in the comments if you would survive in a horror movie. That's going to be it. Hope you enjoyed the video and wish you all an amazing day. Bye bye.